Frank and I were talking this weekend, like we always do. And, I was like, Frank, why don't you get on this week and kind of just talk about what we need to do as a team going forward, how we can pull together closer as a group and what we can do to finish out this year strong. So I'm glad that Frank's able to get on tonight. He's someone that I talk to every day. He's the one that brought me into the business, and I think we can all learn a lot from him. So Frank, it's all you, man.
All right. Appreciate you. So yeah, I mean, first of all, for the folks on here, this business is so simple. And I remember Mike coming to my office 9 years ago on a daily basis going, dude, hey, Frank, what's the secret? And I'm like, dude, there's no secret. I just run a lot of appointments and I run them very consistent. We have leads, we spend money. So, being on these calls is a huge part of growing in this business. And the people that don't get on, not that I like everybody. It's just, I don't feel bad when those folks call me and are struggling, because first of all, the only reason to not be on a call like this is because you already think you know it, or you think you know more than I do. Now, here's what's crazy about that. You might know more than I do. In fact, most of y'all are probably smarter than I am. But what I can tell you is every single time I'm on a call with somebody, every time I listen to a call, every time I do one of those podcasts and I'm talking to new people, or I'm talking to people that not been doing this as long as I have, I learn something. Every time I'm at conference and I see somebody that's been here for 1 year, rookie producer of the year, they say something, I learn something. Today, Rob Richmond was on the call today. He said, dude, my EIN number is essentially my business social security number. I can't get one of those unless I do right by people. Dude, that's phenomenal stuff. So it's like, if you're not plugging into this stuff, you're dying. And if you're trying to build this business, the first thing I would do, if you recruited me and we had these calls, the first thing I would do is I get on here, I click the participants, and I would scroll through to look for your name. And if I didn't see your name, that would be the first red flag for me. Because if I don't see your name, then I know you already think you're smarter than the person speaking, or you don't need the meeting. And to me, that's a real struggle. So, dude, I applaud y'all for being on here, because it's a big deal. And you might not learn something new today, but then again, you might. But at some point in time, on one of these calls, you're going to learn something that will change your career. And that's why it's so important. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a few things that Mike and I have been talking about, and that I think really drive this industry. And it's really, none of it's complicated. And so my answer, Mike, was no, there is no secret to this, Mike. I've given you everything I know about this business. You're giving me way too much credit, as if I'm something special, or I have some special sauce to sprinkle in this mix. I don't know what to give you, bro. I don't have it for you. You can do exactly what I do and you can have the same results. But when I say exactly what I do, I would do exactly what I do, because you like the results I have. Now, if your recruiter, if your manager or your upline isn't where you want to be, then go above them. So like, if somebody hired you and they're doing $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, and you don't want to do that, you want to do 30, 40, 50, then find the next person in line that does 30, 40, 50 and talk to them. And when the person that hired you goes, well, why aren't you asking me? You go, I'm sorry, I just don't want to turn out like you. I want better results. We're not being this is business. So, and I get this from agents when they call me, they're like, well, listen, I don't want to make waves. I'm going like, this is your business. One of the best books Dave Anderson ever wrote was If You Don't Make Waves, You'll Drown. You can't worry about what I feel. If I'm not giving y'all what you need, then you should go to Sean. Like, there's nobody. In fact, I wish y'all would go to Sean anyway, because he is the best I've ever met at this business. And if I can't give you what you need, then you should have that right. And just like y'all have that right. In fact, y'all have that right to call me. Like, and I'm okay. So like, because I started the company with Sean, I've been here since day one. I'm at the top, right? Y'all have the ability to reach out to me. You have the ability to reach out to Jamie. But the amount of people that do and don't reach out to us is mind-boggling to me, because, you would think my phone would never stop ringing, but it hasn't rung in the last, well, my son called me, but that doesn't count. So recent. The last call I got from an agent was Ryan Urbanski at 510. So I'm like, when people try to say I don't get the help or support I need, I go, I'm calling bullshit, because My phone number is 443-790-9341. You can call me anytime you want. Now, if you ask me dumb questions, if I don't see your face on, that's the other thing. Like the people that call me and are on these calls and the trainings, because I'm on all of them and I see who's on them. Like I'll answer your call before I'm going to answer somebody that's not on here, because my time's better spent working with folks that want to get better and learn, because this business changes day in and day out. The principles are the same, but leads change, strategy changes. Sometimes we sell different products. So you guys need to be plugged in. I applaud you. Leads have to be consistent. Now, Jamie and I was talking last week and she was pulling some numbers, and I did a call with a small group of y'all. And I was looking at the amount of money spent on leads, and I'm going like, this is mind boggling. The amount of money spent, or the lack of money that's spent on leads. When we got paid, the very first thing we ever did was bought our next batch of leads. Before we paid our mortgage, before we paid our cell phone bills, before we paid our BGE or our gas and electric bill, cable bill, hell, before we bought food, we bought leads. Why? Because if you don't buy leads, you'll drown. But we didn't buy $100 worth of leads or $200 worth of leads. We bought $1,500 worth of leads on average every single week in and week out. People go, well, how'd you write so much insurance? That's how I heard so much insurance. I had a lot of swings at the plate. Just like if we were playing baseball and they gave Mike 25 strikes before he struck out, and they gave me 2, Mike's going to have a lot more hits than I am, because he's got 23 more shots at the plate than I do. That's exactly what leads are. So you have to buy leads week in and week out. And what I'm saying is we're buying them, but we're not buying them at the bulk we should. Nick's about the only one that's buying the amount of leads he should buy. And that's crazy, because Nick is newer than most of the people on this call. But he's spending the money because he sees the value in buying leads. He's like, hell, every top producer I've heard from says the same thing. They buy a lot of leads. They run a lot of appointments. So why would I do anything different? If I want to be a top producer, I'm going to do exactly what top producers do. The other thing is I'm screaming ILC leads and VSA leads. They're 2 lead resources that I know work. The thing that happens a lot of times in leads is these, and trust me, we've seen it. Mike, you and I have talked. Remember the time you were going to, that company was asking you to send them a wire, and they wanted you to wire the money. I'm like, well, they won't take a credit card. Like that's a red flag. Like, no, I'm not wiring you money, because once I wired it to you, I can't get it back. If you take a charge, then you don't fulfill my order. I can dispute the charge. I get my money back. But there are a lot of scandalous companies out there, and the ones that I know that work, I promote. So we all need to be screaming the same message in that sense, because until the theme is common, until everybody knows exactly what the play is, there's a lot of confusion. So a lot of you are trying to recruit and build. The struggle is this company or this person's using these leads, this person's using these leads, this one's doing telesales, this one's running face-to-face, this one dials on Monday but runs on Tuesday, but again dials on Wednesday, this one dials on Monday, runs Tuesday and Wednesday. Like, we need a consistent deal. The dial on Monday, run Tuesday, dial on Wednesday, run Thursday. That was brand new agent stuff. That's a 2-week schedule, max, maybe 3, to get you in the habit and to give you the ability to set appointments. And then once you write a couple sales, give you enough money to buy enough leads to set 2 days straight, and then do it again on Thursday for Friday and Saturday. So we all got to be screaming that stuff, and you all have to be taking the money out of your business account first to buy leads. That's the first thing you buy. When you get paid in this business, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt most of you all have ever made, if you wrote a policy or 2 or 3 in a week, I doubt you all have ever made that kind of money in a week anywhere else in your life. What happens a lot of times is people get paid $2-3 grand, and they're like, oh, hell, I'm going to pay this credit card off. I'm going to pay this off. I'm going to go out to dinner twice. I'm going to buy that watch. I'm going to pay my wife's credit card off. Hell, I might go out and buy a new car. Instead of living on the budget that you've lived on until you got here for the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months, and just banking that money in your business account so that you have money to invest back into business if you have a bad week. You have money to invest back into business if you get a couple chargebacks. Instead of doing it that way, we're spending all our money, and then you have a bad week or 2, and then you stop buying leads, and then it's a wrap. It's game over. So when you get paid, when you're new, and hell, when you're not new, take the money and pay yourself a salary, what you need to live. And we're trying to build a business here. So when we're trying to build a business, I'm not trying to save my money. I'm my investment. So you can save money a few different ways. You can invest in IUL, you can put money in an IRA, you can buy gold, you can do real estate. I didn't have any of that shit. Every single dime I made went back into this business for 9 years. Every dime I made went back into this business for 9 years. And we didn't live like kings. I mean, we ate. I had a house. It wasn't big. I had cars. They weren't that nice. I did things, but they weren't great. I mean, they weren't like amazing things. We went on vacations, but they weren't 5-star vacations at 5-star resorts. We traveled very, very modestly. We did some stuff, but all of my money went back in the business. And the reason that is because I saw what you can do in this business if you get it to the level you need to get it to. What I feel happens a lot of times, and I'm looking at it now, is a lot of y'all are running this business. You want it to be $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 business, but you want to run it on a shoestring budget. You want to be cheap and then be rich at the same time. Like, we're not saving our way to success here. It doesn't work. Now, if you have a job and you get paid a salary and you have a 401k, you can be cheap. That's the only way you're going to get to be rich when you retire, is to be cheap while you're working, save every penny you have, and then invest it and claim it when you turn 60, 65, 66, when you retire. But the only way to get this business to the point where it's 7, 8, 9 figures is to invest all that money back in. Well, what are you invested in? Well, staff, office space, recruiting campaigns. If you call me, I can give you $1 million things to spend your money on in this business. But a lot of us aren't doing it. A lot of us, I mean, hell, at $250,000 a month, we had 2 staff and an office. I paid for the office myself. I paid for the staff myself. I didn't share staff because I'm an adult. I'm running a business. It's my business. And I'm not going to go, Mike, hey, you want to split this staff with me? And then I'm mad at the staff because they're doing something for Mike and not doing it for me. And then Mike get mad at the staff because she's been working on something for me longer than he felt was necessary. So he's mad now. That shit don't work. You run your business. Be adults. Let's be adults in business and do what you're supposed to do. But I don't see a lot of that. And it's not, I'm not mad. Like, this stuff doesn't bother me, but a lot of people call and go, I want an integrity. I want to be a board member. I want passive income. I don't want to have to be in the field 5 days a week, 4 days a week. But then again, you're not doing the things it takes to get yourself there. And it's not complicated stuff. For you to be uncomfortable, I guess if you don't like to be uncomfortable, maybe it's complicated. If you don't like to have an extra 30, 40, 50 grand in your bank, it could be complicated. Hell, Jamie and I didn't have an extra 30 grand in our bank account probably until 2019. And I had been in the business since 2010. So we're talking 9 years. And it's not, I wasn't broke. Ask Mike. Mike will tell you. Mike always comes, he's like, how'd you do it, man? You never seemed like you were broke. I was like, there were months where our account was in the negative. Nobody knew. But first of all, I still had a roof over my head. I still have my insurance license, which is a license to go print money, by the way. If I can't go out and write 10 grand in 3 or 4 days, then I should quit because I suck. And if you've been doing this as long as I have and you can't write 10 grand in 3 to 4 days, you should quit too, because you probably suck. Now, if you're in the business a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm not expecting you to say that. But after doing as long as I've done it, there's no way in the world I can't go out and write 10 grand in 3 days. So I never really worried about it because I already knew I get my leads, I can make my calls, I can run my business, and I'm gonna get paid in 2 to 3 days from every single carrier. And I didn't sell payment draft dates, by the way. So like a lot of the excuse lately has been, well, I'm not getting paid until until the client pays. Yeah, I know the client should pay, by the way. Now you go, well, I work with retired people. Okay, well, if they don't have an extra 80 grand in their bank today, what makes you think you're gonna have another $80 in their account today? What makes you think they're gonna have $80 in their account on the 2nd of the month? And if they have it on the 2nd of the month and you take it, then they're going to be bitching because you took their money and they don't have enough to live. So you either have to lower the face amount and lower the premium or not sell the policy. That's your 2 options. Now, again, some of y'all are going to fight me on this because you do draft dates all the time. I'm just going to tell you from my experience with placement and persistency, if you do more draft dates than not, you're going to get more cancellations than you have stay on the books. So but regardless, you should always have some payments going through immediately. So you should get paid every single week, a couple times a week, if you're running enough appointments and you have your draft dates. Okay, you're getting a big chunk on the 3rd of every month, and you get another big chunk on the 17th or 18th of every month. At that point in time, you take the money and you set it aside. Again, pay yourself a salary. Figure out what your budget is. What do you need to pay your house bills? What do you need to eat? Pay your car, gas, some entertainment. We're not expecting you to not have any fun in life. That would be boring. Why would you do this and not have fun? But then whatever that is, stick to that budget so you can build this thing. That's the main goal in this business. Every time we got to the point where there was extra money coming in, we did something else to the business. I mean, hell, when we got to the point where it was getting really good, we dumped 180 grand into this office. Mike, you asked me yesterday or the day before, what did it cost you to put this office together? That was 180 grand cash out of our pocket to redo this office we're in now. But we had extra money, and it wasn't it was benefiting us because it was in the bank, but it wasn't benefiting the business. We built this place. People walk in this place, Mike, what's the first thing they say when you walk in here?
It looks incredible.
This place looks incredible. You know what that does? It validates the system of what Family First Life does. So if you walked into my office and it looked half put together with used furniture and broken chairs, people would go, you guys ain't making that kind of money. But when they walk in here, it's like the Ritz-Carlton of it all. I mean, this thing is decked out. And we did that very intentionally. I drive a nice car. I don't give a rip about cars. Jamie drives a nice car. I mean, she likes her truck, but she could give two shits about driving Cadillac Escalade. I promise you. But people need to see that the success gets you somewhere. And it's not look at me, it's look at what this business has done for my family. That's the whole goal. So, but we didn't come out the gate. Mike, when did Jamie get that truck? Do you know?
You have to apologize because for me, everything happened 2 weeks ago. But I think it was last year.
Last year,
yeah.
After we did our integrity, after we closed with integrity, after. And so it's like we waited and sacrificed all of the stuff until we got to where we wanted to get to. But before that, we still were looking for things to invest in the business, whether it's staff, whether it's office space, whether it's recruiting, whether it's social media marketing. I mean, all of that stuff goes into account for what we do. And it's a very, very simple plan. You get enough leads. Right now, it's probably because I was in the field 3.5 years ago. I'd say $2,000 a week. And if you're brand new, don't let this freak you out. Okay. Because if I was brand new, I'd want to know what the deal is. $2,000 a week in leads is what your goal is to get to. Now, if you don't have any money right now, we can show you a clear-cut system to where in 2 to 3 weeks, you can be at $2,000 a week on leads. But you need to get to $2,000 a week on leads every week, week in and week out. It doesn't change. You pay your lead bill before you pay your mortgage because that equals money. And if you think I'm not telling you the truth, Mike's done the same thing. Mike, how many times have you not paid your mortgage till the 30th of the month to buy more leads?
In the beginning, absolutely had to.
In the beginning, you have to.
I remember a very specific time, Frank, when you had a bunch of leads in Ocean City. And I think I was in the business 6-7 months. And I told my wife, I said, Frank has leads at $1,700. I said, I could either pay that or pay the mortgage. I said, if I pay the mortgage, it'll be the last time I pay the mortgage. I said, but I can buy these leads from Frank and go make money. So I overnighted a check to the mortgage company, took the leads from you, dialed Monday, ran Tuesday, Wednesday. The check cleared by Friday, but I was already closing deals when I was down there. I'd made $10,000 in sales for the week. And not only was the check cleared the mortgage, but I had money left over. But I did what I had to do because I wanted to make money and get ahead.
You wanted to make, and here's the thing, Mike, and you and I had conversation about that. You were like, here's what I'm thinking about doing. And listen, this is all you, but you were looking for validation. Like, would you do this? And I said, hell yeah, I would definitely get leads before I paid my mortgage. Mm-hmm. Now, Mike could have said to me or looked at me going, well, he just wants to sell his leads. I don't trust him, but he chose to trust what we were telling him because A, why would it benefit us to steer him wrong? And B, he's watched us do the same thing for years. So he took that advice and ran. A lot of times we tell y'all what to do based off of experience, and then you choose not to do it. Now that's okay. You are truly independent, and you have the right to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Our deal is just don't complain to us when it doesn't work for you, because we have a proven system that works. Just follow the system. So again, $2,000 a week in leads, that's your goal to get to. No less than, if you're going face-to-face, 30 appointments a week, no less. And then if you're doing telesales, it's 20 presentations a day, no less. What does that mean? A presentation is when you talk to somebody about a face amount and a price of their policy. That's one presentation. You need 20 of those a day, 5 days a week. That's what a telesales deal. Every single appointment, you're asking the golden question. What do you have that acts like life insurance, IRA, 401k, 403b? If they say any of the three, you're going, if I could show you a way to take advantage of the upside of the market and eliminate the downside risk, would that be something you'd be interested in learning about? That's the golden question. If you guys do that simple stuff week in and week out, and then add recruiting to your schedule, recruiting has to be put in there as a part of your day. Just like y'all, when you don't have dialing or appointments on your schedule, you're probably not doing anything productive for work. Recruiting works the same way. So if you're dialing on Monday to set for Tuesday and Wednesday, but when you're done dialing, your goal should be to be done by 1 or 2 o'clock at the latest. One would be even better. I mean, noon would be even better. After that 12 o'clock builder's call on Monday, you should be recruiting for the rest of the day. Well, what does that look like? I mean, we have a recruiting campaign. We have seats. You can get on the recruiting campaign. Your seat is $500 a month. That is for ad spend. So you get people get on your calendar that are interested in coming on board Family First Life. You can send messages on Instagram. I think you can send 50 a day. You can send messages on LinkedIn, 50 a day. You can send direct messages on Facebook, 50 a day. There's so many. We have thousands and thousands, Christ. We probably have 25, 30,000 resumes in our system from us running campaigns and ads for the last 4 or 5 years, that if you want people to talk to, we can give you a batch of. And I don't care if somebody replied to an ad 4 years ago, you can still call them up and go, hey, you 4 years ago showed some interest in getting your life insurance license. Are you financially stable now? Could you use to make a little extra money? You keep your options open. I mean, it's not complicated. All it is activity. Recruiting is an activity-based side. So is selling. You need leads to set appointments. You need recruiting leads to hire agents or recruit agents. It's the same thing. The only thing that has to be very consistent is the time that you do it. I think 4 hours a day, 4 days a week probably would be a massive start for you recruiting. Massive. Because it's not that complicated. You just have to decide to do it. And when you make that decision to be all in on building a business, I think a lot of y'all treat this like a job. And again, I'm not mad. I'm sad for you because you really haven't seen what this can do for your family. Because if you did, you wouldn't put 40, 50 grand in the bank. You wouldn't wait to invest in an office. You wouldn't wait to hire a staff or look for somebody to split staff with. Because if you understood truly what it did, you'd want that all for yourself. Because a staff, I wouldn't want to share a staff, because when she's working for me, she's building my business. I wouldn't want to share an office, because when I build the office and then I sell to Integrity pays for the office. They pay. So here's how cool this is, Mike. We bought this office. We bought this building, or a portion of this building. We leased it. We bought it through our real estate company, Fab 5 Properties. Fab 5 Properties leased it to FFL National. When Integrity bought FFL National, Integrity pays the lease to Fab 5 Properties. Guess who's buying the building for me?
Yeah.
Integrity. I mean, that was, to me, one of the moments where I was going like, can you run that by me again? So they're going to essentially pay the mortgage on my office. And they were like, yeah, you use the office for your business? Yeah. You were paying for the office prior to you selling to Integrity? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They take over all the expenses. That's one of your expenses. They pay for it. So it's like, but if I bought this business with Mike, now I lose half of that. And I'm not like, it's not a bad thing, but like, dude, build your business. It's your business. Build it. Take ownership of it. You want to build a $2 million agency, then you need to get an office. You need to get staff. You need all of this stuff to do it. Leads, you can always invest in leads. I mean, there are so many. At one point in time, Mike, we had Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, PA, and then Missouri. For some reason, I drafted Missouri in the lead lockout. We had the whole state. And there were times where our lead bill came in a night was like 7-8 grand. Our lead bill sometimes was 15 to 20 grand a week because they were locking out counties. That's the way it used to work here at FFL. You got to lock out counties that you wanted leads in. And if that county was locked out, you couldn't get leads in that county. So when they opened it up, we were just grabbing lead states because if we didn't have leads, I couldn't recruit any agents, or if I recruited them, I couldn't give them any leads. So we bought that prior to any of this going on. We bought the leads, we locked the counties out, and then we found the agents. In the meantime, I ran like a man on fire. Like I had no other option. Mike bought leads. That was part of the $1,700 of leads Mike bought. It's a county I had no agents in, but leads kept coming. So if Mike didn't run them, best believe I would have been in the car driving down to Ocean City that weekend. I didn't have a choice, but it all worked out. And I don't know if Jamie's on here because, you know, she lived a lot of this. And it's funny because Mike always goes, man, that stuff never seemed to bother you. And I feel bad because I that stuff doesn't get to me. Like I'm not one of those guys where I get all frantic when money looks bad, because to me, again, it's just money. I know Jamie may feel a little different about it, but there were times that she'll tell you, she would look online and in a night, and we get hit with, I don't know, $6,000-$7,000 in leads. And she'd be in the office first thing in the morning on the phone, pounding the phones, trying to set appointments. Because if we didn't go sell, we weren't going to be able to pay our mortgage. But all of those risks, all of that pain, if you will, was worth every single penny. I was listening. Who was the guy talking before the call, Mike? Who'd you have on?
That last one was Ed Milet.
Ed Milet. Dude, he literally said, y'all are a lot closer to your goals than you realize. And that is so true. You already been through licensing. You've already gone through training. You've already probably been beat up on the phones. And if you're brand new, get beat up on the phones. That's really what we want. In fact, if you're brand new and we give you a batch of leads, we're giving you leads where you should get beat up, because that's my goal. I want you to get hung up on. I want you to get yelled at. I want you to get cussed at. I want you to get hung up on, because it builds character. And the only way you're going to get good at this business is if you go through some of those struggles. So it's all very intentional. And what we're looking for is somebody to come back and go, all right, I went through these leads. I got these objections and I got yelled at. I got hung up on. Is there anything I could have done different? Nope. I'm not looking for somebody to go, these leads suck. They all hung up on me. Yeah, I know, it's intentional. Guess what? We've been hung up on too. In fact, the first year in business, we were just calling raw data. We didn't even have a lead where somebody potentially clicked the button and said, yes, I'm interested in buying life insurance. We were calling a list of a name and a number. And we had to call them and go, hey, we know you have a mortgage. Would you be interested in listening and hearing about some different plans for mortgage protection? And 99% of them would hang up on us. That's the way it went. But that built the thick skin. That gave us the ability to deal with all the adversity that comes along. So fail fast, fail forward. That is exactly how you learn in this business. We can talk to you till we're blue in the face, but I can't teach you to ride a bike by speaking to you. The only way for you to learn to ride a bike is to hop on that son of a bitch and go. And you're going to fall. And the beautiful thing is, you're not going to die. You might scrape a knee, bump an elbow. You hop back up on, you start pedaling again. That's how each and if you don't know how to ride a bike and you're on this call, that'd be a little strange, but maybe there's somebody. Each and every one of you, that's how you learn to ride a bike. You got on, first you had training wheels on, then they took the training wheels off. You might have had your mom or dad holding the bar for a little bit, and then you were pedaling faster than they could run. They let go. You might be wobbly for a second, and then you dump, you get back on, do it again. I mean, if we can do that when we're 6, 7, and 8, why can't we do it when we're 18, 28, 38, 48, 58? Why is it so difficult for us to fall, get back up and get back on a bike and go? It makes no sense to me. We lose that sense of tenacity that got us to where you were when you were younger. Like that. Remember, if you want, I mean, Christ, y'all, if you have kids, my kids, when they want something, it's like they ask, and when you say no, they ask you a different way. And then they say no again. They ask you again, and then again, and then again. It's like, oh my gosh, eventually you just say yes to shut them up. But when we get older, we lose that. I talked to Mike, do you want to buy some life insurance? Well, I'm not really interested. Okay, Mike, have a great day. Click. Instead of, Mike, what do you mean you don't want to buy life insurance? Do you have kids, Mike? Do you have life insurance? Yeah, I do. Okay, well then pull it out. I'll go over it with you. Don't you want to know if something's bad with it now before you die when it's too late? It takes 5 minutes. I'll be at your house tomorrow. What time you get off work? Like, we lost that pushiness of just trying to push till we get what we need. And it's not a bad thing. Here's what's great. We're not pushing people to buy timeshares. We're pushing people to protect their family. It's a good thing. I can't get behind that. I can't get behind pushing somebody to buy a timeshare or pushing somebody to buy a watch or pushing somebody to buy a car that really don't need. But I certainly can get behind pushing somebody to put a life insurance policy in place to make sure that when they die, their wife, their kids, their husband are going to be able to feed their family and keep the roof over their head till they figure out what their next step is. Or maybe they can have enough life insurance to pay it all off and they can live comfortably for the rest of their life. Kids can go to school, all that stuff. I have no problem pushing people for that. So we're not pushing them for bad things. We're pushing them for something that they need that 70% of Americans don't have enough of, or they have the wrong plan. My favorite thing in the world was going into review policies, because most agents out there, first of all, don't run enough appointments to do right by our clients. So they sell them something that they know they're going to buy because they need that paycheck. So when you go in there and they got a 30-year mortgage and they sold them a 15-year plan, and you go, so you have a 15-year mortgage? No, I have a 30-year. Oh, that's weird. They gave you a 15-year protection plan. That doesn't make any sense. You just replace it. Because when you show value, people will pay more money. When you show value, people will also give you your checking account and not expect a draft date, by the way. I'm just saying. So, Mike, we have to get back on the consistent page. If you're doing annuities and IULs, I love them. Great job. 10 grand a week, simplified issued life insurance. That message never changes. Never changes. And it's not that complicated. So let's not make everybody think it is. And if you're on here and you're not doing 10 grand a week and you've been here longer than 6 months, dude, look in the mirror and go, what the hell am I doing? Because more than likely you're either lazy or you're cheap and you're not buying leads. That's the only two options is you're lazy or you're too cheap to buy leads every week. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine, but change your goals. The worst thing in the world when people tell me that I'm going to hit Hall of Fame this year. And I go, well, how many leads you buy last week? I bought $400 worth of leads. How many appointments you run? 13. Like, stop saying you're going to hit Hall of Fame. You're not. Like, stop lying to yourself. Dude, the best thing Sean ever did to me was probably in 2016. He said, dude, stop lying to your kids. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you keep telling them you're going to get this house and you're never going to get the house because you're not working hard enough. I was like, bro, that's kind of rude. He goes, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help you make money. And after I wanted to punch him in the face, and after I was pissed for about 30 minutes, I sat and thought about it and go, you know what? He's right. I'm not running enough appointments. I'm not buying enough leads. We're not committed enough for me to do this. I need to stop lying to my kids. A lot of y'all lie to yourselves. You lie to yourselves day in and day out, pretend that you're working. You probably lie to your spouses too. I mean, hell, you might say you're going to an office and you might come to an office, but you certainly ain't working. I mean, you're not dialing. When I dialed, Mike, I tried to get all my appointments set as fast as freaking possible. Why? So I could get off the phones. I mean, but some of y'all just procrastinate. You come in, you shoot the shit. You walk around, then you go back and make 4 phone calls. Then you get up and you walk around some more, go back and make 4 phone calls. Stop lying to yourself. Just go in, commit to doing. Steve Kephart. Mike, I talked to Steve last week, maybe it was last Monday, I think. And he goes, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with the roller coaster of this business. I'm committing to being on live dials every day at 7:30. I'm committing to setting this many appointments for Tuesday, Wednesday, and again for Friday and Saturday. And I'm not going to stop. I commit. And he said, if I commit to something, I'm good. The problem is I haven't committed to it. And he's been on live dials every day. You see, I mean, today he posted he needed 1 more appointment. This was at like 3 o'clock. I need 1 more for 18. I'm like, dude, I love that. he looked in the mirror and said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of telling everybody I'm going to do something, not do it. I'm tired of not having the results that I deserve, that my family deserves. I'm tired of the ups and downs of my bank account. I'm tired of not being able to pay the mortgage on time, not being able to pay my car payment on time, not being able to let my wife buy what she wants, when she wants. Like, I'm tired of all of it. Until you get tired, nothing's going to change. And I don't know what your tired looks like. For us, we had no choice. I mean, we literally were broke. We lost our house. We went from a 6,000 square foot house to 1,100 square foot townhouse. We went from making 30, 40 grand a month to making 3 or 4 grand a month. We were broke. Hell, we pawned Jamie's wedding ring to stay in the business. So like, for y'all to go like, you don't understand I'm broke. No, I understand. I've been there. In fact, most of us that have gotten to anywhere substantial in this business have been where you're at. It's just, we chose not to stay in that position because there's other choices. And I don't like, what breaks my heart, Mike, is looking at all these people on this call is like, do you not think your family deserves what my family has? Like, what demented person or what demented school, what demented group of people do you hang out with that have gotten you convinced that you don't deserve to make 7 figures a year? Because that's bullshit. You need to get away from them people. Because I know each and every one of you on this call can have exactly what we have. Everybody can have exactly what we have, but most of y'all won't do it. And it's here's how hard it is. Okay. Let's forget the $2,000 a week in leads, because that you might think that's outrageous right this second. Let's just start here. You're on the phone every day at 7:30 in the morning. You're making 30 dials an hour at least from your cell phone. And if you have a landline, it's better because you can make 40. You don't stop dialing until you have 20 appointments set for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, you're doing the same thing at 7:30 in the morning. And you don't stop dialing until you have 10 appointments set for Friday and 10 appointments set for Saturday. And if you don't have leads and you're like, I've made this offer to so many people, Mike. I go, here's the rules. I'll buy leads for you. Here's the rules. You're on live dials at 7:30 and I'm watching you dial and you're unmuted and you're dialing. Like, if you walk away for longer than 15 minutes, then the deal's off. If you mute yourself, deal's off. If you turn your camera off, deal's off. And you dial until you set your appointments, or until you get told no 10 times. Then you call me and we address why you're being told no so much. And then you keep going. That's the deal. That is the freaking deal. And anybody who wants to take that opportunity can take it. There's so many agents on this call that have leads. Like, we have thousands and thousands of leads. And I don't give a rip if they're a year old, if they're 5 years old. A lead's a lead's a lead. And if they're 5 years old and I already sold them a policy, go back out and review the policy. Rob was talking about that on his call today, annual reviews. So, but that's the challenge. A lot of people, I had one agent last week, they're like, something came up the very first day. Oh, I forgot I was supposed to take my dad to the airport. I'm like, deal's off. Like, oh, can I have one more chance? No, nope. You can't have one more chance. This is business. I want people to be successful, but I'm not going to watch you fail. I'm definitely not going to enable you to fail. So, Mike, it's not that complicated, bud. It's just a decision. And when these people make that decision, you instantly see their life start to change. What's cool is watching people like Nick and Jesse talked about it a little bit. I just did a podcast with him, and it'll come out, I think, maybe this Friday or next Friday. And he was talking about his mindset and how he was starting to go through this period of, well, maybe this isn't for me. And then he snapped out of it and goes, wait a minute, what am I doing? My whole life, I've been telling myself I can do anything I put my mind to. Why is this changing the way I feel? Dude, it happens to everybody, but he snapped out of it and said, you know what, that's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. Just commit to doing the work day in and day out. You guys will get up at 6 a.m, get in the shower to get dressed to go to work for somebody else at 7:30 a.m. to make $18 an hour. But you won't get up at 6, get showered and get your mind right and get on the phones at 7:30 and dial as long as it takes to make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 grand a year. Like, what? I can't even fathom it. And dude, there are some people that do this and I'm going, wait a minute. That fool is making 600 grand. What? That fool's making 600 grand a year? Like, y'all should literally look at me and go, dude, if that idiot makes $1 million, dude, I could make 10 million, because we legit are nothing special. I like, I don't know any other way to say it. Like Jamie might be special, but I sure as hell ain't. Like, I just like to work. I just like to help people. And we're very consistent. We were Mike, very consistent. It never changed. My schedule never changed.
Frank, a few weeks ago, someone came up to me and they said, well, it's easy for Frank to talk the way he talks because of what he has. And I said, I've literally known Frank for like 12 years now. And I remember when he drove around in a Camry that was dented, a suit that was too big, and a house that was way too small. And he was the same exact way. Now, he took me to lunch at Taco Bell. I didn't get the good food I get now with Frank, but he was the same. We were eating at Taco Bell, but he was like fired up and happy and not complaining. Didn't complain one time. And I said, I never knew how bad things were. And he was the exact same back then, you know? So I can attest to the way you were.
Dude, I mean, I can tell you that would have damaged you beyond what I could have ever repaired.
It would have 100%. And I agree with that. And I think too many people, they go through those bad times and they want to share it with the world. And bro, I thought you were like on top of the world and had everything back then. But yeah, when I saw you never complain, always excited about the future, always shared a vision, it continued to push me forward because I wanted to be right there with you.
Yeah. And look at you now, right? It's like, and that's the crazy thing. And dude, I love that point because Mike, you've been with me the longest out of anybody on this call.
Mm-hmm.
I literally could have ruined you by telling you 2 or 3 times. Oh my God, dude, Mike, my account's $700. We went to Taco Bell. That's probably all I could afford. Like, I do like Taco Bell. I ain't gonna lie, it's good. I haven't eaten Taco Bell. Like, listen, I'm down 35 pounds, bro.
But bro, in the last 5 years, you haven't taken me to Taco Bell. It's eating at, right? You know, sleeping at the Ritz-Carlton or eating something good. We get we eat Wagyu steak. I haven't had Taco Bell with you in years. So.
But it's like, but that's how you. And here's the thing, Mike. I was on top of the world. You know why? Because I understood this opportunity. I knew what it could do for my family. And I still had a roof over my head and food on my table. Even though it was Taco Bell, I still was able to eat. I was able to sleep in an air-conditioned and heated house. I had a car to drive around in. What the hell right do I have to bitch and moan about anything? Like, seriously, I have more, just that. I have more than 90% of the people in the world. And if I want to bitch, moan, and complain about that, somebody ought to smack me in the face. That's how I feel about it. So you're right. It might not be going my way today. Things might be not the way I expected them to be. But I still can be, I can still have a positive attitude on life. And that's absolutely what we'll wrap up on, Mike, because I think if people can keep their mindset right, if they can just focus on, if you wake up every day, and Jamie talks about this, have a gratitude journal, write down 10 things you're thankful for every single day. And like every day I'm thankful for my family, every day. That doesn't change. Every day I'm thankful that God blessed me with this business and introduced me to Sean Mike and introduced me to people like Mike and Ryan and Corinne and Colleen and Josh and Josh. And there's so many on here. I don't even start naming names because I'll hurt somebody's feelings. But I'm looking at Jess Ewan right now. I mean, like, she walks in here and she lights up the room. She's got a great mental attitude. And then I talk to some of y'all and I want to hang myself when I get off the phone. I'm like, seriously? If I lived like that, I would just run into oncoming traffic. I'd end my life, because living miserable is just about the dumbest thing ever. When it's all a decision, like, that's what people don't realize. You have the right to change how you feel and think, but most people just enjoy being negative. We don't want y'all. Like, and I'm sorry if you're one of those people, please kindly find something else to do, because you'll ruin the rest of us. And like, if you've read the Bible, and I'm not going to preach to y'all because I have no right to, but it does say faith the size of a mustard seed. Doubt works the same way. So does negativity. All you need is a tiny bit to creep into your body and it'll spread like cancer. Now, on the flip side of that, positivity works the same way. When you get up every day and you're positive and you're thankful and you're grateful, it's impossible to be grateful and negative at the same time. It's impossible to be grateful and scared at the same time. It's impossible to be grateful and unappreciative at the same time. You can't do that. It just doesn't work. So if you wake up every day starting it out being grateful, then your day's already going better than it was yesterday. So can we all commit to doing that? Can we all commit to buying whatever it is your budget is? If you call me, if you don't have $2,000, call me. I'll tell you how to get to spending $2,000 a week. If you have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, if I like you enough and you work enough and our conversation's good enough, we'll help invest in you. And all my managers and leaders on this call, I need the same from y'all. Like, you guys should be investing in your agents, investing back in your agents. There are people out there that want to work. that want to go to work, that will do this, that want to get on live dials. They just don't have the money. Help them out. Because I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to state this for all of y'all, I'm pretty sure over the last 9 years, I've helped most of y'all out that have gotten pretty advanced in this company. And I'm not asking for anything in return, but I'm asking you to pay it forward. Because we have a lot of good people that just need help. They just need that springboard to get them to the next level. So let's commit to BSA leads, ILC leads, week in and week out. Because if we all use them and validate them, we'll have a system that's very easy to duplicate. That's all it is, being able to duplicate exactly what you do. When I was running mortgage leads, and I'll wrap it up with this, Mike, when I was running mortgage leads, it was 40 leads a week to set 24 appointments. And I didn't get always 40. I got 30 to 40. I could set 24 appointments on 30 leads. Believe me, it was a little harder because with people not answering the phone and stuff like that. But so let's just say 35 leads to set 24 appointments. That was 10 grand a week. I could give you the clear map to write 10 grand a week. Now we got so many different people buying so many different leads. There is no clear map. So if we get most of y'all, Nick's buying all ILC leads. We know it works. Nick's just a beast on the phone and he don't give a rip what you say. He's not going to quit till he wins. But if we get those numbers down where we got 17 people, 20 people doing 10 grand a week with a mix of VSA leads and ILC leads, we can pull all of them and go, all right, well, they're buying 75 VSA leads and 200 ILC leads. That's giving them 30 appointments. They're writing 10 grand a week. That's what we need. So 7:30, get on live dials and dial till you have your appointments. Invest all your money back in the business. Why? Because there's no way in the world you can invest in anywhere else and make the kind of money we make. I promise you. When you get to the point, it doesn't grow like this. Okay. It grows like this. It's a hockey stick effect. When it takes off, your income will go from 30, 40 a month to 90 and 150 a month. Just like that. Our income went from 50, 60 a month to 130 a month inside of 2 months. Just like that. And it's different for everybody. I don't know where that is going to be for you because lots changed since we were there. Our average spread was 11.5%. Now with you all hiring people at 90%, the way it should be done, hell, you could get there a hell of a lot faster. So guys, let's commit to doing the simple stuff, having a positive attitude, cheering for everybody, starting dialing at 7:30 in the morning, buying leads week in and week out consistently, investing it all back in your business and being a team player. Dude, we can double organically with the 135, 40 people we had on this call. We can double organically if we all do that. So dude, that's all I got, Mike. If you had any questions, you can let me know.
That's it, man. Everyone make it a great night. We'll see you next week. Take care.